Welcome to the Geek Wrestling Podcast. I'm with Jose Sands. I'm here with
Hollywood Marcus.
very, very determined Hollywood Marcus and
Big Ralph.
Big Ralph. We're here to talk about this week in wrestling, what could have been, what should have been, and what was. We are 1 week away from Sunday to the greatest, the grandest stage of
1 week away from Sunday?
Yeah, that didn't sound right, though. One week from Sunday, there's a week on Sunday. How does that work?
We're a week and 3 days away.
No, but we have a week until on Sunday.
We're 10 days away from WrestleMania.
You know what? We're close to WrestleMania, where we'll be doing our predictions on our prediction show next week. But this week we're going to talk about what happened in the last 2 weeks, because last week we had took a break just for 1 day, just for 1 week. And now we're going to talk about both weeks, and there's a lot of shenanigans that was happening. Let's talk about Raw. Raw this week and last week, we see Brock Lesnar basically destroying Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns calls him out, says he's going to be there. I know I'm suspended. I'm going to sit down here. He gets handcuffed. Lesnar comes out, gives him the beating on the stretcher, gives him another beating this week. Lesnar comes out, says, he's not here. Roman comes back. Lesnar beats him up again. Are you starting to get excited about this match?
Nope.
All right, so why aren't you getting excited at this match? Are they not doing things? They're doing things exactly like they did Reigns and Braun. They're letting Braun, but instead we're having the Beast. He's just destroying Reigns. Why not? Why aren't you getting excited? It's for the big championship. This is their universal title. This is the title that matters.
No, it doesn't.
On Raw, it does.
The champion's barely on the show. I would consider the real Raw champion The Miz.
I would have to agree with Hollywood on that. I just, their promos are, for me, they fall flat. It's just, there's so much beating that I want to watch that it's like, no, enough. It's too much beatings every week.
What do you mean much beatings? I mean, it's a wrestling program. They beat each other every week.
No, okay, during a match.
Unadulterated beatings.
But
what? You want adulterated beatings? That doesn't sound right at all.
I said unadulterated beatings. Beatings that people just get beat just to get beat.
Exactly. It's one too many. It's first you had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens do it to Shane McMahon. Then you had the Beast and Roman Reigns. Then again Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This time to the returning Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
And the returning Yes movement. And then again Roman Reigns gets beat up. It's like enough. I'm all for someone getting beat up, but it's like when it's back to back to back to back, it's like I need a rest.
I think who the hell is this? No, I don't got time for
this
that.
This is Big Ralph and
Jose Sands. What's wrong? Don't you know what we're doing here? Are you back not paying attention to what's going on here?
No, I'm paying attention. I got you. See, my problem with it is how am I going to support Roman Reigns when, in actuality, he's like dick in all this. Like, he tells the marshals how to do their job. He tells the marshals not to touch them. It's like, dude, you're being escorted out, but yet you're treating these people who are just trying to do their job like you're treating them like a douche. Don't do that. And
I mean, later we find out that they're not really marshals, but still, at that point, you don't know. And I agree with you. It's like
who were they?
There's some MMA what's it called? Some MMA fighters that the Beast and Heyman hired for that segment.
But storyline, they're U.S. Marshals.
No.
No. They said on This Week on Raw that
they said this week that
Heyman said that we hired them just to put them in handcuffs so we could beat them up.
Yeah.
All right, so that makes more sense then, because I'm like, dude, you show up when you're suspended, and then you get beat up. Like, whose fault is that? You were supposed to be there, but I don't know. I have a very hard time getting sympathy for Roman just because he's been pushed so hard for so long. I'm like, I'm supposed to feel something for you now? Nah, bro. Like, I was cheering when Braun beat him up. I'm like, yes, finally somebody to take his spot. So, yeah, I have...
It feels like the big brother versus the little brother. trying to get the attention of the father, McMahon.
This match better not go on last. If this match goes on last, I would turn my TV off and ask for a mental health day from work. I'll do it.
I'll go to sleep early.
I don't think anybody's going to sleep early after freaking 4-hour WrestleMania.
No, it's like a 6-hour show, 2-hour pre-show, and then like a 4-hour main event show. I don't know. It's going to be a long show.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one.
But how do you feel about this? You haven't said your opinion.
Well, no, I mean, I was thinking to myself that Reigns is actually cutting some decent promos on this, trying to hold the fort down while Lesnar doesn't come. I agree. I think it's the same old ploy that they've been doing. I mean, I even compared it to Braun and Reigns' rivalry, where, you know, he gets on the stretcher and then Braun takes him out to the thing and he throws him off the docking bay. You know, we had all that happened, which...
I mean, all that was missing was the flipping of the ambulance or the flipping of a semi or just getting the ambulance and ramming it into a semi. It's like, that's all that was missing from this.
I guess we're just trying to show dominance here, is what it is, basically. And that's Lesnar, you know, that Reigns has no answer to Lesnar.
My problem is there is no clear-cut heel or face. I mean, they're trying to make Reigns the face, but it's like, I just don't buy him as a face.
I don't think he is a good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just the guy.
I kind of set myself up for that one, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Totally did, man.
I'm not sure. I mean, because you have to figure Lesnar's going to leave, right? He's not going to resign. Or he might hold up McMahon for more money and not go to UFC. Like, it's up in the air if he's going to stay or leave. Regardless of if he stays or leave, I think the match is going to end up being like Goldberg-Lesnar from WrestleMania 20. Like I've said before, I think both of them are going to get booed. Especially if Lesnar leaves. If the crowd figures out that he's leaving with that smart crowd, they're going to boo him out of the building. And people already don't like Reigns. So I think you're looking at a lose-lose situation in this. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Okay, so let's talk about another championship match for the Raw's Women Championship match. We learned that Asuka's actually going after Charlotte for her title, which left a vacancy for the women's title in Raw. As that happened, we had these segments where Alexa Bliss is, you know, pretty much berating, body shaming in a sense. Nia Jax, and now it seems to be Nia is going to be slated to compete against Alexa for the title at WrestleMania. Are we excited about this match, or is this something they've thrown together? They figured they're going to have the best friends feud. I mean, we're having that as well between Bayley and Sasha. But they're only going to do the women's battle royal match. If it's going to go that way, I hope that Nia gets it, so she has the championship because she's done her dues and she deserves it. Because it doesn't, I just don't see a Alexa Bliss beating Nia Jax. But I mean, they could do shenanigans. It could be disqualification. You know, they can go any route that they want.
Remember, Mickie James is in her corner.
I remember this.
So with Mickie James, I want a feel-good moment where Nia Jax wins. Like, you know, Mickie James causes interference in the match. The referee does his little, and you're out of here. You know, eliminates Mickie James, and then Nia gets to win, like straight up. But if Alexa wins, I think it sets a really bad example and message to the kids, like, hey, bullying works and bullying is something that I can get away with. I don't think they want to send that message. So,
okay,
yeah,
wait a minute. Why are you saying this message of Alexa Bliss is pretty much bullying when, if you think of the character of Alexa Bliss through the year, has always been the mean girl, as you would say, which is pretty much a bully.
Because she's body shaming, and she's...
Yeah, it's
so the difference is body shaming, not all the other awful things she said to other people.
Yeah. It's a different kind of bullying.
This is different.
Yeah.
Is it really?
It is. It's a different type of example.
Yeah, but then
you want the woman champion to be a symbol of acceptance for all body shapes and sizes.
And aren't you setting that up with this feud for the person who's insulting the one person, and then they have that feel-good moment? So if the feel-good moment happens, then everything that they did kind of goes away, is what you're saying.
Correct.
But if it doesn't, then
like
it's kind of saying that, you didn't. But yet, she pretty much old shamed, if we want to say, Mickie James when they had that feud. If you want to put a thing to it, saying how old she was and putting the point that she can't go anymore, that she had a couple of kids. She did that whole bit, which is pretty mean, pretty insulting, pretty bullying.
It is, and I understand your point, and I respect your point, but I think as far as body image and body shaming and saying, hey, like, you're fat or this and that, I think Nia has to win this. I don't think they can get away with her losing.
The problem with old shaming Mickie James is Mickie James doesn't look old. Mickie James looks good, and she can go at it. So it's like, I understand your point. It's like, yes, it is a bullying kind of thing, but it's like, I never looked at Mickie James and be like, oh, she's old. I agree with Alexa. I just thought, I was like, damn, she should prove herself, and she did. She put on good matches.
Mickie James is only 38. She's not old.
Well, what about the
compared to Alexa? It's like that's a whole storyline.
Well, also you're going off the fact that she was part of an older generation of wrestlers that came through. She's coming in with the younger ones. She's an older wrestler in that sense. But let's talk about her promos then. Let's talk about Alexa Bliss pretty much telling everybody when she won at the Elimination Chamber how if you put your mind to it, you could do anything, and then totally swerving the people. That's a bully right there, too. That's a bully move. Pretty much saying you could do it, but none of you are like me. So, I mean, come on.
No, that's not really bullying.
What?
That's just...
Really?
That's being a heel.
That's being a heel. So wait.
That's
okay.
If I was to say like, "Oh, you guys are good, but I am better."
Okay, but if we're talking heel, or we're talking heel, we're talking that is heel, but yet, saying look at her and well, I mean, look at me. Did she ever say she was fat? So all she ever said was look at her, and I mean, look at me. She never said that fat woman or that heavy set woman or that's all she said.
It was
implied.
Implied, but is that really fat shaming or body shaming?
Yes.
I mean, you could say the same thing if I said, "Oh, look at you and look at me." I mean, I'm handsome. You guys, you need a little work.
I'm drinking rum.
Is that body shaming?
No.
Yeah.
Well, everybody looks good with a little rum.
It's lime rum too.
No, but all right, come on. I mean, I think you're taking this to a little extreme about the body shaming.
No, I think you are. I think you're trying to like poo-poo our opinions.
I'm not poo-pooing your opinion. I'm trying to figure out how you.
I think someone wants Alexa to win.
I'm trying to figure out how you could say that somebody is bullying in this instance because they're saying one thing, but not bullying when they pretty much are telling the crowd that they can never achieve their dreams because they're not like me. Which is the same thing in a sense where you say, look at her and look at me.
No, it's not.
You're taking it. See, this is the problem with society is that you guys are taking it to the point where you're looking at it and it might not even be body shaming, but you're saying, hey, it's body shaming because, look, of course she means this because we're taking it as that product because, of course, she's big and she's small.
No, but she said it. She's like, you've always been bigger than everybody else. You don't look like everybody else. You've always stood out. She said that. So, I mean.
But does that mean fat?
Yes. It means that.
Bigger doesn't necessarily mean bigger. She's taller.
It means you're not like everybody else
because
on the average, so you're
I
weird.
can say that about Sasha. Your hair is different. Your body shape's different.
She's ratchet.
See, are you now? Or do we take you as a bully for saying a comment like that?
No, because it's the truth.
Oh, and what she said. So you're saying that's the truth, but yet Alexa's saying you've always been bigger than everybody else. You've always looked different than everybody else. That's not the truth?
Mr. Sands, can you admit that it's low-key mental abuse what Alexa's doing?
I never said it wasn't mental abuse. I said it's not body shaming is what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's rephrase it and say it's mental abuse.
Okay, so then why is this worse than her going out to a crowd of people and saying you're never going to achieve your dreams because you're not me?
Because she said it to a crowd of people who know that it's an act, and that's the way she is.
And you don't know this is an act?
It's not an act because she's making her feel like crap.
They're
she's
best friends. Of course it's an act. The whole thing's an act. That's the whole point of wrestling.
You know what? I know Jersey Shore's an act too, so I mean, come on. Let's keep it within the context of kayfabe.
Okay. So, we got that.
I think right now you're low-key trolling us.
I'm just trying to figure out why that's different. Why it's body shaming. It's considered body shaming and a bully when pretty much Alexa's character is a total bully the whole time.
You know what?
I want to know why this instance is.
All instances are her bullying. It's just there's some instances that are worse off than others.
She never said she was fat. She never said because she's fat and I'm skinny. Maybe it's implied, but if you look at Nia and she says, well, look at her and look at me, you're making your own assumptions.
This is what I'm going to do.
Because you can say, maybe look at her, look at me, I'm prettier than her, than I'm prettier than she is. That could be it. Why did you guys go to body?
This is what I'm going to do. Next week, I'm going to have Liz join us. I'm going to explain and show her all the clips, and then I'm going to have her tell you if it's body shaming or not. And Liz is always right, so...
Well, I want to make sure. Liz has been a wrestling fan for how many years now?
I don't know, since I started making her watch it.
So like 6 months ago, maybe?
Like a year. Maybe
a year. Like consistently, like if we call Liz now and say, hey, what do you think about that segment on Raw? She'll be like, I totally saw that.
Nah, but she will by the time the next podcast comes around.
Okay.
I'll make sure of that.
All right. We'll see. We'll get in from Liz and see how what her 2 cents are if they do a segment like that again, I guess.
Or whereas she's known here, the cook.
The cook. So another title match, because it's all about titles, that we're talking about is the the Intercontinental title between Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and The Miz. Now we saw,
He had his baby.
Yes, he had his baby. So congratulations to Miz and Maurice because a beautiful baby girl came early, from what I understand. So let's talk about that. We got all these segments, not a lot of wrestling, except next week we're going to see Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins again. This week they had Miz TV, and it looked like the Miz Taraj was going to turn on the Miz, and of course then it was the big swerve, which I thought was played very nice. And then, the other two got into it. Are you excited about the Intercontinental title match?
Child,
yeah, because you talked about the baby, so I'm thinking child.
I am very excited for it. This is one of my most anticipated matches of the pay-per-view because The Miz is in it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all assuming, I can assume that The Miz will not have the title after WrestleMania because she probably wants to be around for his little girl.
I dispute that.
You dispute that? You think he's just a workaholic?
I think what's going to happen is, and Big Ralph, we would have to hear his opinion too. I think Seth Rollins and Finn Balor are going to be the workhorses of the match. They're going to work. They're going to put in a great show, flash, all that type of stuff. The Miz sneaks in, steals the pin, and I predict, gentlemen, that he will be Roman Reigns' first challenger after WrestleMania.
Huh. Okay.
I think he's going to be like, I've been the champion. I've been carrying this show for I don't know how many years now, with Lesnar never being here. I'm the IC champion. I want your title too. So I think that's what's going to happen.
All right, I don't have a problem with that. I think Miz deserves to go for the title.
What do you think, Ralph?
No, I like it. I don't know how it will play out.
Well, I'm glad you have that opinion. Well, who do you?
I like your idea.
We're not a prediction show, but we're all thinking. Well, at least I'm thinking that either Finn or Seth are going to get it. So
I thought Balor would get it, but I'm liking Hollywood's idea.
Yeah.
I mean, The Miz always says that he wants to be the first ever Intercontinental and Universal Champion, so why not?
Oh, and you're in the lead in our predictions, so I guess anything that's off the rails is something that you might predict.
It's not prediction yet, I haven't talked to my WWE people. So.
Yeah, talk to your WWE people. Let us know.
No, just wait until he told you what he told me today, and just wait. I want because he told me something today. I'm just like, you know what, Ralph, man, You're probably right.
Damn.
Can I tell you?
Is this towards the Smackdown area?
I don't know. I remember, but he said something.
Oh, the tag team partner.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay, I had completely forgotten what you were talking about.
Perfectly for now. So, what do you think the tag team partner?
It would be Braun Strowman's tag team partner. There are speculations that it would be the returning Rey Mysterio.
Oh, so what? David and Goliath as tag team partners?
See, you get it. I like that. I like the size difference there. It's like, the taller monster and the energetic small Mysterio.
I mean, didn't you have that with Batista and Rey Mysterio before?
Not really. Batista's more average height.
Were they the tag team champions of the world?
I think they were the tag team champions of the world at one point.
Besides, Batista is no monster among men.
But he is the animal.
He did not have the charisma that the monster has.
Wow. All right, I'll give you that. All right, so
Besides, it's just because he's returning. I think they're gonna have it as maybe Mysterio, because Mysterio is with New Japan. They're gonna have him just take the pin. That way, it doesn't take away from Strowman.
And then Strowman destroys him for taking the pin?
Maybe Strowman destroys him for taking the pin, or maybe he destroys all three of them because he lost the match.
I mean, he can beat Sheamus and Cesaro apparently by himself, so whatever. I don't know why he needs a tag team partner.
Because it wouldn't be a tag team championship without a tag team partner. I mean,
no, but
yes, it would. It's Braun Strowman and these hands versus the Bar. It's like the McMahons versus Shawn Michaels and God.
Yep. But basically, like either Kane or Daniel Bryan were the tag team champions of the world, like individually. So I mean, come on, remember that?
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be done.
I guess it could be, but I mean, for story purposes, I think it's better for him to have somebody to play off of. It could be like you said, like a Team Hell No in some sense. You got Braun and you got somebody else, and they could be comedic but yet great, and everybody will love them. Put him into a different atmosphere.
He's invoking the reverse Freebird rule.
Okay, so the last match we need to talk about is John Cena. John Cena has no road to WrestleMania. He'll go as a fan, but you know what? I'm going to call out The Undertaker. So he calls him out, and who answers the call but Kane? Gives him a chokeslam last week, and this week he fights Kane in not a bad match, but not a good match, just a lackluster match, and pretty much does all the Undertaker things.
Gimmicks.
Yeah, gimmicks, to try to get the dead man. Still no word from the dead man. Are we starting to get excited about maybe seeing The Undertaker versus John Cena at WrestleMania?
I'm not excited about the match. I am excited in the way that John Cena is calling out The Undertaker.
Yeah.
I'm finding it rejuvenating in the way that he's doing it.
I think right now he's just whining, and he's like, "Oh, I need a match." I'm like, "Super Cena, shut up."
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's whining. Yes, and I see your point, but to me, it doesn't feel like whining. It's like, what is WrestleMania without John Cena? He's been there since forever. It feels like now. So you need him there. And calling out the dead man the way he's done it, it's fun. He gets the crowd going, and the crowd really doesn't like John Cena that much anymore. But everyone chants when he says, what's the phrase that he's saying? Do something.
The thing about it is that he's saying all these things like, oh, you think you're old, or hey, you think you can't go anymore. Like, he's saying that Undertaker thinks in the set and stuff, but we haven't heard Undertaker say these things at all. So where is he getting that from?
It's fans. A lot of fans after Roman Reigns versus Taker, they're like, wow. And myself included, I'm like, wow, Taker has gotten old. He could barely hold his own in that match.
That's what happens when you get old.
Well, I agreed, but I think that's where he's getting it from. So he's like, hey, guys, like, he can still go at it. It's just,
Then he needs to rephrase it like, hey, Taker, the fans don't think you can go anymore. The fans think you're retired. The fans think that you're so demoralized after Roman Reigns. you don't want to come back. I wouldn't phrase it the way he's been phrasing it.
Yeah, but if he phrases it the way you want him to phrase it, he kind of sounds heelish.
Sounds heelish anyway.
It's Cena. They will never make him a heel, so.
I mean, his unfortunately, promos are pretty heelish. Sounds like he's body shaming to me.
Pretty much. He's old and body shaming. The hell, man.
Look, you know what? I think his promos are great. I love him. I think he's firing up people to see the Undertaker. I think everybody's excited. If the rumors are correct, or if they say that he put the Dead Man character, away from the last one and comes out as American Badass because of the Kid Rock thing, I don't have a problem with that either. I think if he can go and do a good match, then he should do it. If he feels like he can't, then he should.
Did he have hip replacement?
Yes, he did.
Why the hell would you want to risk that?
I don't know. I don't know what the whole deal is on this. You know, it's all up in the air. We all don't know what the Dead Man's going to be, or, you know, how he's going to look, or if he can move and go. I mean, like he said in his promo, he got pictures of him doing, you know, squats from his wife's Instagram account. And, you know, squats aren't easy for a big, you know, with a bad hip. So
bad knees too, apparently.
Yeah, so I mean, if he's taking his time and putting each character to rest, and he put the Dead Man character to rest, and now he's putting the American Badass character to rest, and so be it.
I think Cena can carry him, and I know Undertaker's good enough where he can make something look presentable. But please, just retire. I don't want to have you, in my last memories of you, be of an old, broken down vagabond that can't. Just please retire. I would appreciate it very much. You're not Shawn Michaels. You can't come back like he did and just put on 5-star matches year after year after year. Just retire. Thank you. Goodbye, Undertaker.
All right, come at him, Undertaker. Come at him.
I know. I don't want him to come at me. That's the one person I don't want to come at me.
You want him to rest in peace?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I had to.
All right, so let's mosey on down to Smackdown. Yeah, I like the rhyme I tried there. So this week on Smackdown showed us Jinder Mahal and Rusev defeating Bobby Roode and Randy Orton. Rusev gets the pin over the U.S. champion Randy Orton, and now is added to a fatal four-way between Roode, Orton, Rusev, and Jinder for that U.S. title. The addition of Rusev. Do you guys agree, disagree, or, again, one of those,
Wait, what'd you just say?
The addition of Rusev to the U.S. title match. Do you agree, disagree, or is it just whatever?
I agree. I think Rusev Day needed something to solidify him and justify him in the spot that he has with the fans. I think he comes away and he wins it. Either he wins it or Ginger wins it.
He's not a redhead, so don't call him Ginger.
Ginger Mahal.
Ginger Mahal.
Yeah, I'm glad Rusev is in this match for the United States Championship of America.
Okay. Do you think he was added? There's a rumor going around saying he was added because his sales are just crazy, because he was originally supposed to do the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, but because his shirt sales and his merchandise sales are through the roof, that they decided to add him to the U.S. title. Or do you think is he that over to be considered to add?
You want to know what I think before Big Ralph answers?
What do you think before Big Ralph answers?
The wrestling business is about one thing: making money. And if Rusev is making a company money, Vince is going to put him in a position to make more money. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's
agree,
entertaining.
Actually, what?
I said I think he's entertaining. I don't have a problem with him being added to the match.
I don't have a problem with him added to the match. I like Rusev Day. He's grown on me. I think he could do without Aiden English, but...
No,
you need him. I think Rusev is a person that needs...
a mouthpiece?
Yeah, like Lana or Aiden
See,
English.
You could bring back Lana. I like the Ravishing Russian. Oh,
I have thoughts about that.
Ooh. I don't know what's going on back there, but it doesn't sound good. All right, so let's talk tag team title. Tag team titles. We got Harper and Rowan, Big E or New Day, and the Usos. It's going to be a three-way tag, it seems, for WrestleMania. Actually liking this dynamic, showing that the Harper and Rowan are hard to beat. You know, they're the ones that they're going to have to go after. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys think about the tag team champion being a triple threat?
I don't know. I would have liked it more not a one-on-one, team versus team.
I think it needs it. I think the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick, it will be too much of a boring or maybe one-sided match. So I think you have to put someone else in there to make it a little bit more entertaining.
I guess. I mean, that's the problem when you build a team that's like too overpowered. You need two teams to kind of equalize the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have two teams that we know can go and put on great matches, and just the addition of a powerhouse team. I mean, you're pretty much doing Edge, Christian, Hardy Boys and Dudley Boys, if you think about it. You got the hard-hitting, no-nonsense guys in the Bludgeon Brothers, who the Dudleys. You got the high flyers that are like the Hardys and the Usos, and you have the New Day, who kind of does the Edge and Christian type stick, where they can go, but they also have that comedic timing. So you've got, if you have that dynamic before and you have a dynamic similar to that, it's a good combination. So I'm hoping that this match, I think that if this is, like I said, the Usos never had a WrestleMania moment where this is the first time they're going to be in WrestleMania, they're going to want to steal the show. And I think those guys can steal the show if they want to.
Yeah. Again, which is, I would have preferred a Usos versus New Day, because I think that would have, teared up the field. But I do see that that's the match to see, just because of the Usos and New Day and the type of matches that they can pull off.
Not only that, but I think Luke Harper, and I think we've talked about this before, is just an underrated performer, and he needs to be in something to highlight how good he actually is.
If you wanted to get a good Luke Harper interview, listen to him on the Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. I was very impressed by his verbal skills.
Okay, so let's talk about a non-titled match that's coming up, and we'll talk about, because we weren't here last week, we have to, and we spoke about it, or Ralph spoke about it a little bit earlier, but the return and the clearing of Daniel Bryan to active competition. Now, of course, Daniel Bryan gets cleared, went to the best neurologist, decides
he goes to the best doctors.
Decides, because of their actions against Shane McMahon, that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are now going to be fired. When that happens, after he announces he's cleared, they just go all crazy on him, powerbomb him on the apron. He does his kicks. He does his drop kicks. I mean, if we had any question if they were going to let him go light, I guess this is going to be a no.
No, he's cleared all the way, man. He's all the way cleared.
Yeah, so...
Now, I was impressed by how little of a rust I saw on him, if any. I barely saw any rust on him. I was surprised by how good he still was able to move after being gone for so long.
You gotta figure he's still been training, though.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys who's probably been training.
He's been training. I get that, but it's a different kind of feeling when you're training than when you're in front of a live crowd doing it. I would imagine. I've never been in his shoes.
Right. I don't know. I don't know either, and I couldn't imagine, but like you said, he looked great. And then the next week on Smackdown, he decides to make a match at WrestleMania. It's going to be him and Shane McMahon versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
And he was selling the injury. He was selling that he was still, not 100% after the beating.
No, he Daniel Bryan's awesome, so.
Yeah.
Well, if half the roster could pull off the performances that he could, I think WWE would be in a much better place.
Agreed. I mean, he just has a connection with the crowd that nobody else has. It makes you feel, and I think we've
it's
talked
a
about this
connection
before.
that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's a connection to feel like that could be me in that ring, and that could be me fighting my way to this. So excited to see that match. I like Sammy and Kevin. Shane McMahon is just an added thing to it. I'm kind of excited to see what happens and where they're going to take this.
I have a inquiry.
Okay.
For both of you. Are you prepared?
I am as prepared as I'm going to be.
Whether I'm prepared or not, go ahead.
All right. So, given Daniel Bryan's he did not get a push. How do I explain it? Given his connection with the fans and how Vince McMahon was forced to add him to the main event of WrestleMania to give him his spot, quote unquote. Why was Vince? Why did he give Bryan what the people wanted, but yet you have people who need to turn heel like Roman Reigns, people who need to turn heel like Sasha Banks, who I guess is heel now. Why is he so against the natural progression of characters? Like Rusev needs to go babyface, Edge naturally went babyface, Stone Cold went naturally babyface.
Because if it's not his idea, and I don't mean to cut you off, it's just I know where you're going with it. It's just if it's not his idea, he doesn't like it.
But look how it worked for Edge. It worked for Steve Austin. Steve Austin even said, "Hey man, me going heel at WrestleMania 17 was the wrong choice." It's working great for Kenny Omega. Like he naturally just transitioned into that babyface spot. So why is Vince so reluctant to listen to the crowd?
I can't answer that. There could be plans and things that we don't know that's happening down the line, and that's the reason why they don't do certain things. I mean, we have to think that when things are planned in WWE, it's planned months in advance. It's planned to the point where they know where they're going to end up in WrestleMania, where they know they're going to end up at SummerSlam. And the week to week can change, but this is their end all. I'm going to go, this is the guy I want to be here, this is the guy I want to be here, and this is how we're going to get there. So maybe keeping a person heel or keeping a person face or not letting it progress, it could be just part of a bigger plan that we're not aware of. So we have to take that into consideration. Then you got to take into consideration injuries. If you think if what's his name? Who was it supposed to be? I mean, Stone Cold said if Stone Cold wasn't supposed to win the Rumble or the King of the Ring, right? Somebody else was. I believe it was Jake or something like that.
It was supposed to be Triple H.
Or Triple H, yes. And because he did the what do you call it? The I forget what it's called.
Curtain call.
Thank you, the curtain call. Since he did the curtain call and it was getting punished, he wasn't going to win. If he didn't win and you didn't get that push for Stone Cold and he didn't say his promo where he said 316, we wouldn't have Stone Cold Steve Austin. So you have to take that into consideration. You have a plan of where they're going to go. All right, we want to go from A to B, but in between A and B, things can happen, right? There could be an injury, there could be this, and then that's the time where if you need something, you take those things which you see, which maybe is a Rusev who's naturally turning face, and do that because you're missing that face. By reading all the dirt sheets and reading all internet posters, we all understood that it was going to be Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania. We've known this since
a year.
A year ago, yeah. So it's no surprise that we're here at this point.
No, that's not the surprising part. The surprising part is that you could get Reigns to the point where you want to get him, and you could still change his character. You can change his personality. You can change his persona. You could make him a heel like everyone wants and still get him to the place he needs to be.
But it's the same thing as the Cena thing. Not everybody wants him heel. You're looking at it as a smart mark, right? You're looking at it as that type of person. You're looking at it as in a way where you're going, okay, I can see this. He just needs to go there, and everybody loves him. But then it's the same thing as the Cena effect. People love him, and you have his sales. Let's call it marketing is geared towards those little kids who love him. And you're not going to take that away. And the same thing with Roman. Roman's got these people because he's the guy who keeps fighting to be better. It's the superhero, and not when you get older. Those superheroes that you see, we all like Batman, but Batman stands for XYZ. Same thing as what these guys are kind of built towards. It's like we beat the guy. We do what's right. We go this way. We have to cheat a little, but we'll do it because it's the best. Because this guy can't get to be where it is. Little kids are looking at that. Little kids like him. You're not going to take that away because your demographic or your major demographic that's taking me, who's a dad, or you, if you have kids, when you have kids, to go see these events are little kids. And they're buying that merch, and they're going to look at them, and they're going to cheer for it. I like Cena. I'm not the biggest Cena fan, but when my little guy goes to one of these things and cheers Cena and goes crazy, hey, I'm there,
He buys the phone.
He buys the phone. We're going there. We're doing that. It's the same thing. Same thing with Roman. Roman has that same factor. So whether you are a guy who understands how this works, it's not going to be just because you want it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're saying the fans. Well, not all fans are like that. Those little kids are a strong demographic, and they're the ones that are bringing their parents over to these shows. Because if not, if it was a person who didn't have kids, you know where they're going? They're going to ROH.
Yeah, or PWG.
Or PWG, and those are where they're going to get those fixes. If you're going to WWE, you're going there because your kid is saying, I want to go see X, Y, and Z fight such as such. Little girls are going there because they want to see Bayley or Becky or any of those, or Naomi.
Depends the age of the girl, because I have some female friends who are like, oh, I want to see Cena and I want to see Reigns because I think they're hot, and I'm like,
Alexa
really?
or nothing.
Becky or nothing for me.
That too, I can respect that.
Charlotte or nothing for me too.
I mean that's I understand where you guys are coming from, and I understand that for their character that'll go that way. But in the end, I'm sorry, it does. You're not the ones that they're targeting.
I guess I missed the good old days where, it was the Attitude Era where The Rock was a villain, The Rock was a good guy, The Rock was a villain, The Rock was a good guy.
The Rock was the heavyweight champion of the world.
He was the world heavyweight champion of the world.
Pretty much. He was the world heavyweight champion of the world.
Yep. So, world champion of the world. So, I mean, let's go to the next thing, because I think the Roman and all that stuff and what we're going to see.
That's a whole topic on its own.
Yeah, it's a whole. That's going to be a show.
That could be one whole podcast.
But let's talk about Shinsuke and AJ. We got that match going on. Got a little shenanigans from Shinsuke, making it like he's so confident that AJ works from the heart, and there's no way he's going to beat him, that he knows he can beat him, and then it's shaking up AJ's confidence. Do we like that storyline where it's going, or does it make AJ look a little weak?
I like it.
I think you need that. Yeah, I like it too.
See, this is an instance where I can't tell which one is the heel, which one is the face, but I have no problem with it. I like the mind games that Shinsuke is doing, and I like the way that, AJ maintains that he's still a good guy right now. He's like, you know what? Let's try to get each other there healthy. Let's do this match. This match, I want it as much as the fans want it.
Yeah, I don't see, because it's going to be a face versus face match, I think, no matter how you look at it. And I mean,
but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think that's kind of what it needs to be, but I don't have a problem with it at all. I'm happy about it. But I think adding the mental game from Nakamura, saying, "Hey AJ, like, what's going on, man? You're so emotional. What happened?" I think that's good.
I like
the line when, I forget if it was last week or the week before, where he tells AJ's like, I'm going to beat you. Like, let me guess. You're going to beat me. And He's like, AJ, don't be so down on yourself. Have some more confidence in yourself.
Yeah, that was good. That was funny.
Is that Sasha?
Yes.
Sasha just doesn't like anybody. Doesn't like Bayley. Doesn't like anybody. So
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going to have a tear-down, drag-out fight between Shinsuke and AJ. Looking forward to that match. It's one of the ones I'm really looking forward to at WrestleMania.
I call it now. It's going to be match of the night.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
You know what? I've talked to my WWE people. It's going to be match of the year.
Oh.
No, I think match of the year is still Gargano versus Cien Almas.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say anything bad about that. So that's what we got for SmackDown and Raw this week. You know what time it is, guys?
It's time for 205 Live.
It's time for Jose's Hands 205 Live update. So this week, or last week, we saw that it's going to be Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali for the Cruiserweight title at WrestleMania. This week, we saw a Fatal 4-Way match between Buddy Murphy, Kalisto, TJP, and Akira Tozawa. There was another match prior to that, but I'm only bringing this match up because you need to see this match. This match reminds me of the times that we had the Cruiserweights on WCW in the 90s, where you had the Jerichos and, Malenko and,
Guerrero.
Thank you. Whoever else was there at the time. These guys did some innovative moves. They flew all around the ring. You guys, when we've talked about 205, said that you wanted the guys to do more high flying and do all this stuff and innovative moves because it needs to be different from the guys who are on the main roster. Well, you need to watch this match. These guys did some innovative things. Great match. Buddy Murphy came out on the winning end of it. He looked strong. I'm actually starting to like Buddy Murphy, so you need to check this out.
I plan to. I've been watching it pretty much for the last month, I want to say, but I forgot what the hell I was doing Tuesday, and I just couldn't do it. I forgot, but I need to watch it, and I want to watch it, and I will watch it.
Yeah,
check it out, guys, if you can.
I've been meaning to. I don't know. I keep forgetting. I barely ever turn on the network on my phone. It's usually on my PlayStation.
Your PlayStation 4?
My PlayStation 5.
Wow.
You got a PlayStation nobody else has. All right, so that's 205 Live. Interested about that. One thing I want to take away from NXT this week is that you had the debut of EC3 to the NXT universe. We also had the announcement from General Manager William Regal that they're going to have a new NXT North American title, and it'll be at TakeOver at New Orleans, where it's going to be revealed. We also saw in the Dusty Classic the Authors of Pain defeating the Street Profits, and Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne defeating Sanity. So it looks like it'll be Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong versus the Authors of Pain to see who's going. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish for the titles at New Orleans.
No, it won't be Bobby Fish.
Oh, that's right, because he got injured. So Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, who's doing double duty that night because I believe he's in the ladder match for the North American title.
Who do you think they give the title to, though?
Because I thought at that point it was going to be Adam Cole.
You had the introduction of Ricochet, too.
Yeah, I know. So there's a lot going on, which it looks like, the NXT show is going to look amazing. So when we talk about that next week, we got a lot to talk about.
I can't wait. That's going to be a really long prediction show because, I mean, how many matches do we have in total?
You know what? If you can count, I don't know. I haven't even started looking at that yet. I will look at that next week. Then we can go into how many
predict that I come back and I take the lead from Big Ralph. I have enough matches to close the gap and win.
The only things that are going to screw you up are the two battle royals because you have too many people to pick you on that one. So
no, I'm going to pick accurately.
And Ralph seems to pick the odd stuff that happens, so we'll just let him.
Dude, Ralph picks stuff that isn't even like a possibility, and it works out. I'm like, what?
It's like we didn't set these rules very good, and Ralph goes, you know what? No contest, and we're like, no contest. What is he talking about? Oh man, it's a no contest.
Sorry, I had to laugh.
So this week, like every week, one of us picks a current and old school match for us to review. That match is the main event of the week. Now, this week was my pick. I decided, because we seem to have gone down most of WrestleMania 19 on these podcasts, that I would pick one last WrestleMania 19 match. That was Mr. McMahon versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Or I guess he was Hulk Hogan at the time, but I guess he had the feathers, so it's Hollywood, really. Just yellow. How about yellow and red Hogan?
No, he's still Hollywood.
Yeah, he's still Hollywood at this point. So, why I picked this match? One, I wanted to round out and say the matches that we talked about for WrestleMania 19 are the best ones of WrestleMania 19, and that WrestleMania was actually a very decent show. The other reason why is because I wanted to show something that I think is missed. We always talk about how nowadays where people do all these amazing stunts and all these crazy dives and they try to kill themselves for the product. This particular match was not done with crazy stunts. They had maybe one or two in there, but most of it is story, nostalgia, and story. The story is who created what. Did McMahon create Hulkamania, or was it Hulk Hogan? Great story. You had all this backup information. He could have, Hogan deciding to testify him in a trial, going to WCW, trying to put him out of business in the Monday Night Wars. You had all this culminating in this street fight, which is something that Mr. McMahon needs because he, as you can see, if you ever watch this match, he's got no coordination whatsoever. But
he's swole.
He's swole, and the emotion behind it. Who created who? Who was doing this? And then him coming back for this triumphant return to fight Mr. McMahon. Not a lot. It wasn't a long match if you really look at it. It was very short compared to some of the other matches. And there wasn't a lot done. You weren't seeing any high-fly moves. I think you had one off the top of a ladder where McMahon does a leg drop on them. You saw color. You got blood from both guys because you felt like they needed to tear each other apart. And in the end, Hogan wins. But it's not so much what they did, because what they did was very minimum. Plus, with McMahon's minimum training, he can only do so much. Plus, and if you think of Hogan, Hogan was not one that had many moves in his set. It wasn't all about the moves. It was about the story. And I think a lot of that is missed, or a lot of people don't think of those things nowadays. They think we need to see them kill themselves, or even those talents think they need to do some amazing things in order for us to be amazed. When all it is story. And this had a story, and it was a great story, and it got to you. And I compare it to something else, another Hogan match. Let's talk about Hogan and Rock. That wasn't a great match if you looked at it with the sound off.
But it was
it wasn't a good match.
It wasn't a good match, but the story behind it, the crowd interaction, that's what made the match. The way that the performers can decide and react to what was going on in the arena to make Rock do heelish things and Hogan switch almost to babyface just like that. This is what this match was. It was a story. And not a great match, but not a bad match, and it's one of the highlights of WrestleMania 19. What did you guys think?
Win that?
Huh?
No, The Rock won that match, right?
The Rock won that match,
Yeah,
which like 2 or 3 rock bottoms, but we're not talking about that match. We're talking about Hogan and McMahon.
I think what you said is accurate. I think the story was the main thing that the match had to get over and convey, and the story is what the match was about. You had two men from the 80s era literally just destroy each other. There wasn't a lot done. I mean, Vince did do that 450 off the top. He missed, but it's like.
And then he did the leg drop off the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then he destroyed the announcer.
Yeah, it all worked. They got color, they got blood. I mean, just the match itself isn't anything to write home about, but the story. And at the end, when Shane came out, it was like, "What's up, Hogan?" And Hogan's just like, "Hey, bro, I just got your dad, man. That's all I came here for." I think that story.
And then
sold it.
Roddy Piper coming out.
Oh,
during
Roddy
the match.
Piper, yeah. Like I said, it's nostalgia. It was a nostalgia match altogether.
Yes.
Yeah, but it worked. You don't have to do a lot.
I mean,
to make the match work.
how old they were at that moment. I liked it. I thought it was in my opinion, I thought it was a good match. I know that they can't do the same things that Angle and Lesnar could, or Rock and Stone Cold, but for what they could do, I thought it was a decent match. I always like Hogan when he hulks up, so
yeah, it's something about that.
It's always fun.
Yeah, something about that is always entertaining.
I wish more matches in current WWE had a story like that story, because if they did, oh man, like it would be so much better. But I mean, beggars can't be choosy, so it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we could either have good storylines or good wrestling. Unfortunately, nowadays we can't have both.
I mean, Jericho Omega was a perfect example of both.
Yeah, definitely. But again, that drove from story.
Yeah, it's one of those like one in a couple 100,000.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say 1 in a million. It happens. It's just it's rare nowadays.
So let us know what you think about WrestleMania 19 as a whole and the Mr. McMahon versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan match. You can find us at YouGeekly on Facebook. Leave us a comment, even on Twitter. Let us know what you think or what match you thought would be better at WrestleMania 19 besides that one.
Is it my pick next week? Or
I believe it is your pick next week.
Yeah, it's yours. You can go for the last match and pick.
You already
Triple
did
H.
that one.
Oh, we did Triple H Booker T?
No, but I don't think that's one of the better ones out of 19. But that's up to opinion.
I already know what I'm going to pick.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
So we want to thank you for listening. We're part of the Unique Geek Network. You can look for us on our website, YouGeekly. We also are on Podbean and Apple Podcasts, so please subscribe and leave us a comment, maybe even a 5-star rating. If you do, we will read it on air. Until next time, I am Jose Sands. I'm here with...
I'm not even very tipsy, but I'm all right. Hollywood Marcus.
And a still tall Big Ralph.
Big Mike?
Big Mike?
Yes, I was going to say Big Mike. I don't know where that came from.
For changing his name where he's now Big Mike.
Apparently.
I want to thank you guys for listening until next time.
Bye.
Later.